Good evening, everyone. It is such an honor and pleasure to be here with you. I have two stories to tell you this evening. And the first one is called The Invisible Backpack by Peggy McIntosh. We'll come to who Peggy McIntosh is and why she spoke about the invisible backpack. But I want you to imagine for 1 second, okay, that there's a backpack. There's a slide before this, please. Yeah. Imagine that you're wearing a backpack, okay? Pick your favorite color. It can be Gucci. It can be, whatever you want. Pick the color, wear it on. If you are someone who has a secure place to sleep at night, I want you to take a bunch of these pebbles and put them in the backpack, right? If you're someone who gets to eat 3 meals a day without having to ask for them, please take a bunch of these pebbles and put them in your backpack. Next one, please. If you're someone who has parents who care for you, can you take a few of these, please, and put them in your backpack? If you're someone who's never been abused, sexually or verbally or emotionally, can you please take a few of these? I know they're very rough and very heavy, but can you take them and put them in your backpack? If you're someone who has more than one pair of shoes or chappals, can you take these and put them in your backpack? Next one, please. If you're someone who went to school from the beginning, can you take one of these really large boulders and put them in your backpack? If you're someone who's able to walk out of your school or home at night, just maybe down the road and back, can you take some of these and put them in your backpack? If you're someone who lives quite close to a hospital, not 20 kilometers away, if you're someone whose parents have been able to take you to a doctor when you had health issues, can you take some of these and put them in your backpack? The next one, please. Is this roughly how you feel now? Next one, please. Now what we'll do is take these off of your backpack. And then these ones. And then these ones. And so what do you have? What is this? This is called privilege. What Peggy McIntosh said was that those who have privilege, whether it's white or male, or whether it's caste privilege or economic privilege, those of us who have it never realize we have it. And that's the beauty of that, see? So if you're carrying the weight of your privilege, would you ever really want to carry it? But that's the thing, you never feel the weight of it because it's so easy, and it's so lovely to have. Next one, please. That's what it is. And I have pink confetti on it for a reason. The next one, please. So what does life look like for many, many of the others? If you're someone who doesn't get to eat at least 3 meals a day, if you do not have access to clean drinking water, if you do not have at least one adult person who cares for you, if you do not have to look after your siblings in terms of their food and clothing, if you do not have access to doctors at a less than 20-kilometer radius, if you do not have access to toilets, if you're able to read and write in Telugu, most definitely if you're able to read and write in English, if you do not have a dream or you're not allowed to pursue your dream, this is what life looks like for many. And there's this race called life, right? In which many of us have to do a college degree, we have to have English language fluency, life skills such as cooking, driving, using the computer, using the phone, basic banking tasks, some degree of travel and exposure, minimum health and growth milestones, phone access, internet access, and if you're even more privileged, a private school education, a college degree from an international college or university, money for expenses, money for recreational learning and travel, parents who check on you, visit you from time to time, internship opportunities, and of course, social work on your resume. Next one, please. But imagine who's running this race with us. It's these people. It's these people with the weight. And it's so important for us to realize that we are running that same race without any of those weights, without any of that baggage, without any of that difficulty. If I were to show you this map of India, this is actually the wealth distribution across the country, and 50% of people live in that little bit of land, right? Now, another way, and I'd like to interpret it like this, is that all of those who are privileged and who've carried that weight for a while and then got to take the weight off really are that tiny dot. Next one, please. So in India, inequality, for example. Now, I'm just taking very basic statistics. I'm taking just a few issues in the interest of time. 75% of women in India are married underage, some as early as 13. I've myself seen cases of girls being married at 9, even at 11. 46% of girls in India are undernourished. 50% of girls only are enrolled in school, and 25% only make it as far as graduation. Next one, please. And you look at the education gender gap, it increases with the level of education. And so those going into undergrad level are fewer and fewer and fewer. The next one, please. Now, this is for health. The amount of expenditure that you would incur on private hospitals because you don't have access to public health care, right? And the blue lines are basically the amount of money you would have to spend, and the purple lines are the amount of money that some people have only to spend. And so they're not even getting the amount of care that they would normally need to get because they don't have the money to spend on it. The next one, please. And so I would like to share this idea with you. How about we think of giving not as a duty but as a privilege? And that's what a lot of big philanthropists before us have done. For example, Rockefeller. The next one, please. And that's why I do this, because I come from a place of privilege, because I have 3 meals to eat, because I have parents who love me, and I've gone to a private school. The next one, please. And so what we do, we work in the areas of education, sports, health, nutrition, water, livelihoods, environment, and community-based infrastructure, so that my country and all of us have a relatively better chance at running that race in the future. Today, India's population, we have the most number of young people, and this is going to be our economy in the next 20 to 30 years. If these children are not educated and brought into the system to then get livelihood and increase, our country's success, we're going to fall behind, and we're going to fall behind in a huge, huge way. And there's an irreplaceable gap that we should be afraid of. Next one, please. And so these have been some of our goals. We work in 75 plus villages in 6 mandals and 5 districts of Telangana and AP. The next one, please. And this is a little bit about the impact that we have. We have about 7 lakh patients who get benefited from the 5 hospitals. We have 64 Anganwadis and 42 schools and 9 adult literacy centers. And I'm not going to go through all of this in too much detail. This is available in the public domain, and you guys are way better than me at looking things up on the internet. So I'm going to let you do that. The next one, please. So we have schools that we run for underprivileged children. We have mobile health vans that go into extremely remote and rural villages to give them the service. The next one, please. We have built hospitals within the government hospital centers because the poorest of poor go there. The next one, please. Eye hospitals, COVID care, more COVID care, where we've given mobile COVID ICUs with ventilators. And I want to bring you at this point to the next story. How many of you know who she is? So there's this lady called Wangari Maathai, and she won the Nobel Peace Prize many years ago. And she won the Peace Prize for planting trees. And I want to tell you this story because really it's her favorite story, and I thought this would be a great way to both leave you with a message and perhaps honor her and your school in the great things that, they're both doing, both her and your academy. The next one, please. And I'm going to do this like a little picture book, you know, for little baby children. So you can have a look at the pictures, and I will read you the story. One day, a terrible fire broke out in a forest, and a huge fire it was. It was suddenly engulfed by a raging fire, and all the animals were so frightened, and they all ran out of the forest as fast as they could. All the deer and the elephants and the lions and tigers and bears, all of them ran away. When they reached the edge of a stream, they stopped to watch the fire, and they felt so sad and discouraged. They felt helpless. But what could they do? They were all standing and crying and mourning the destruction caused by the fire to their forest. Their homes were destroyed. Every one of them thought there was nothing any of them could do, all except the little hummingbird. This particular hummingbird decided it would do something. It swooped into the stream and picked up a few drops of water and went into the forest to put them on the fire. Then it went back to the stream, and it did it again, and it kept going back again and again and again. Please remember how small the hummingbird is, right? And yet when it went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, carrying just a little water in its beak to put out the fire, its wings ached, and all the other animals watched in disbelief. What is he doing, they thought. Some of them tried to discourage the hummingbird with comments like, "Don't bother, it's too much, you're too little, your wings will burn, your beak is too tiny. It's only a drop, you can't put out this fire." Even the elephant with its big trunk didn't help. But the hummingbird kept going. It went up and down, carrying the droplets of water. Finally, one animal yelled at the hummingbird and said in a mean voice, "What do you think you're doing? Don't be silly." And the hummingbird, without wasting time or stopping its work, looked back at all the animals and said, "But I'm doing what I can." Next one, please. And so I'd like to leave you today with two messages, really. One is the backpack of privilege that we all have, every single one of us, and the fact that we're just a small number of people here with the privilege, and of course, the little hummingbird. And so now, you tell me, 0, is it the beginning or the end? Thank you so much.